Now, as a computer programming teacher, Andrew can connect the dots better than the average person. He looks for clues that lead him to the big picture, and he is involved in many issues that people, such as crop circles, such as 911, chemtrails, looking for empirical evidence that people just won't touch. And I'd like to welcome you to the show, Andrew.
Hi there, Ralph. Thanks for inviting me on.
What time is it in England right now?
It's just past 11 p.m.
Well, we're just keeping you up late, and I appreciate you staying up for the people that we have on. And could you maybe start from a little different angle and say, like on crop circles, is there any validity to crop circles? Is there anything that might tie crop circles to 911? And do crop circles like disappear in a day or two, or could you?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's an interesting question, which a lot of people dismiss the crop circle phenomenon as a purely, pranksters of various kinds, just making these things in the fields, overnight, just for a joke and to make some money out of publicity stunts and this sort of thing. And, indeed, if you go onto the internet and you can look at a site called circlemakers.com, and you will see a kind of, a diary of the crop circles that this group have made. I think it's a group of about 5 or 6 guys, and they've actually done them for, official corporate sponsorship deals. They made one for a music video in 2004. So, we do know that these things are on occasion made by people who go out and stomp the fields with, planks of wood, basically. But I've always been very interested in some of these more complicated designs, which have been seen, and seemingly, far too complex to be made by this process of walking across the fields in the dead of night, with a complicated design. Like, for example, we've got one that was made, I think in 2001, which appears to be a response to the encoded message which was sent out in 1974 from the Arecibo radio telescope. And this is actually in the form of like a digital bitmap picture, where you can see it's actually an oblong picture with pixelated sections with various symbols embedded in this picture. And the crop formation that was in England in 2001 appeared to be a response to this message. And if you sort of Google crop circle Arecibo message, you'll find the pages relating to this. But I basically, as you were sort of saying in the introduction, I've been trying to look into all these things since about 2003. That's when I really started looking intensively at things like crop circles, the UFO issue and free energy technologies. And I'd looked at all of those, and I actually put together a presentation about crop circles in, I think it was 2006, and I went to a local club and gave it there, and I came across the work, for example, of BLT Research, which is John Burke, Nancy Talbot and W.C. Levengood. You can go onto their website. They have a lot of scientific research where they've actually gone to the crop circles. They've taken samples of the plants from inside where the formation has appeared, from outside where the formation has appeared. They've taken samples of the soil. They've done what's called an XRD study, which is basically X-ray diffraction. But then I was watching another presentation, and this was about a year ago or something, and it mentioned this BLT website, and I thought, yes, I'm familiar with that. And then it mentioned iron microspheres in the soil, or iron spheres, and I thought, hang on a minute. And so I went back to the BLT website where I'd been before, and sure enough, there's a couple of photographs taken by W.C. Levengood. You can go onto these on bltresearch.com, look at the XRD study, the link they've got there. And in fact, it's a soil study, I think. The XRD study might be in that page, but it might be a separate page. But you can basically see these little spheres of iron. And it says these are magnetized, and they're between, I think, 10 and 40 microns in diameter. Now, this really triggered my interest because we've got this Stephen E. Jones character. It was a couple of years ago now, I think, possibly even 3 years ago, where he claimed to have published this study about some dust which was, I think, kept by Janet McKinley. It was from the World Trade Center destruction. She'd had this dust sample for so many years. They had studied this. I'm not sure whether they did it with XRD or just with I think it was just with a scanning electron microscope. And they discovered these iron spheres, 20 microns in diameter.